Most people think their metabolism is fine until their body starts sending quiet warning signals they don't recognize. Today, you're going to learn how to read those signals because a metabolically broken system does not fail overnight. It fails slowly, subtly, and predictably. When your metabolism is healthy, your body switches smoothly between burning sugar and burning fat. Your energy stays steady, your brain stays sharp, and your hunger obeys you instead of controlling you. But when metabolic damage begins, the first sign is not disease. The first sign is dysfunction. Sign number 1 is constant fatigue that sleep does not fix. If you wake up tired, crash in the afternoon, and rely on caffeine or sugar just to feel normal, that is not a personality trait, that is a fuel problem. Your cells are struggling to access energy, which usually means insulin is blocking fat burning. Sign number 2 is stubborn belly fat that refuses to leave no matter how little you eat. This is not about willpower. Elevated insulin locks fat inside fat cells, especially around the abdomen, because that area has more insulin receptors. When insulin stays high, fat cannot exit, period. Sign number 3 is intense cravings for sugar or refined carbs. Cravings are not weakness. They are biochemical instructions. When blood sugar rises fast and crashes fast, your brain triggers an emergency signal demanding quick fuel, and the fastest fuel it knows is sugar. That cycle traps millions of people. Sign number 4 is brain fog or poor concentration. Your brain is an energy-hungry organ, and it thrives on stable fuel. When glucose swings wildly and ketones are absent, neurons struggle, neurotransmitters misfire, and thinking feels like pushing through mud. Sign number 5 is frequent hunger, especially soon after eating. If you finish a meal and feel hungry again within 2 hours, your hormones are not regulating appetite correctly. Insulin and leptin are supposed to signal fullness, but when they're ignored, your brain thinks you're starving even when you're overfed. Sign number 6 is darkened skin patches or skin tags, especially around the neck or underarms. These physical signs often indicate insulin resistance developing beneath the surface. Your skin can reveal what blood tests may not yet show. Sign number 7 is elevated triglycerides or low HDL on lab work. These markers are metabolic smoke alarms, warning that your body is struggling to process fuel efficiently. None of these signs mean you are broken beyond repair. They mean your metabolism is asking for a different environment. The powerful truth is metabolic damage is reversible when you remove the signals that caused it. In this video, you'll learn why these signs appear, what they mean inside your cells, and most importantly, how to correct them so your body can return to doing what it was designed to do: burn fuel cleanly, think clearly, and generate stable energy all day long. And once you understand the signals, you gain the power to change your metabolic future forever. Now that you know the warning signs, you need to understand what is actually happening inside your body when metabolism starts to break down, because knowledge removes fear and replaces it with strategy. Your metabolism is not just how fast you burn calories. It is the entire control system that decides whether your body stores energy or releases it. At the center of that system is insulin, the master storage hormone. Insulin's job is to move glucose out of the bloodstream and into cells, which is helpful in small, temporary amounts. The problem begins when insulin stays elevated all day long. Every time you snack, sip sweet drinks, or eat refined carbohydrates, insulin rises. If it never drops, your body never gets permission to burn fat. This creates what I call metabolic traffic congestion. Glucose is trying to enter cells, fat is trying to leave cells, and insulin is blocking both processes from working efficiently. Over time, cells become resistant to insulin's signal, which means your pancreas produces even more insulin to compensate. This is the beginning of insulin resistance, and it is the hidden engine behind nearly every metabolic symptom you learned about earlier. When insulin resistance develops, your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells, become overloaded and inefficient. They start producing less energy and more oxidative stress, which damages tissues and slows metabolism further. This is why fatigue appears early. Your body is not lazy, your cellular engines are struggling. Meanwhile, your liver is forced to process excess glucose and convert it into fat through a pathway called de novo lipogenesis. That fat can accumulate in the liver itself, leading to fatty liver, or it can be shipped out into the bloodstream as triglycerides. This explains why abnormal lipid panels often show up before any diagnosis is made. Your brain also feels the effects. When insulin is chronically high, the brain's ability to use glucose efficiently declines. Yet ketones are not available because fat burning is blocked. The result is an energy crisis inside your skull, which you experience as brain fog, mood swings, forgetfulness, or lack of motivation. Hormones that regulate hunger and fullness also become distorted. Leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you have enough energy stored, stops being heard clearly. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, becomes louder. This combination creates the frustrating experience of feeling hungry, even when your body has plenty of stored fuel. Your body is not betraying you, it is following hormonal instructions. Skin changes also make sense in this context. High insulin stimulates growth signals in skin cells, which can produce tags or darkened patches. These visible signs are like dashboard warning lights, telling you metabolic pressure is building internally. The key thing to understand is that none of this happens randomly. Metabolic breakdown follows a predictable chain reaction driven mostly by chronically elevated insulin. When you interrupt that chain, you don't just manage symptoms, you reverse the underlying process. And in the next part, you'll discover the daily habits silently pushing insulin higher without you realizing it, including some behaviors people think are healthy, but are actually accelerating metabolic damage. What surprises most people is that metabolic damage is rarely caused by one dramatic mistake. It is usually the result of small daily habits repeated for years that quietly keep insulin elevated from morning until night. The first hidden driver is frequent eating. Every time you eat, insulin rises, even if the food seems healthy. If you snack every 2 hours, your body never enters a fat, burning state because insulin never drops low enough to unlock stored fuel. Your system stays in storage mode all day. The second driver is liquid sugar. Sweet drinks, fruit juices, flavored coffees, and even so-called healthy smoothies deliver glucose so quickly that insulin must spike hard and fast. Liquids require almost no digestion, so sugar floods the bloodstream within minutes, forcing a strong hormonal response. The third driver is refined carbohydrates disguised as everyday staples. White flour products, processed cereals, crackers, and many packaged foods break down into glucose rapidly, even if they are labeled low-fat or whole grain. Marketing often hides metabolic reality. The fourth driver is chronic stress. When stress hormones like cortisol stay elevated, your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream, even if you have not eaten. Your body thinks you are in danger and need instant fuel. That extra glucose demands extra insulin, which keeps fat locked away and worsens resistance. The fifth driver is poor sleep. Just one night of short sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity the next day. When sleep deprivation becomes a pattern, your metabolism behaves as if it is under constant threat, conserving energy and storing fat instead of burning it. The sixth driver is lack of muscle use. Muscle tissue is the largest glucose-absorbing organ in your body. When you rarely challenge your muscles, your system loses one of its biggest tools for clearing sugar from the bloodstream. Less muscle activity means more glucose stays circulating, which means more insulin must be released. The seventh driver is grazing at night. Late night eating is especially damaging because your body's circadian rhythm lowers insulin sensitivity in the evening. Food eaten late requires more insulin to manage than the same food eaten earlier in the day. Over time, this pattern trains your metabolism to stay in storage mode overnight when it should be repairing and detoxifying. When these habits stack together, the effect is cumulative. You may not notice changes day to day, but internally your metabolic flexibility is shrinking. Your body forgets how to switch fuels. It becomes dependent on constant incoming calories instead of accessing stored energy. This is why many people feel shaky, irritable, or weak when they try to skip a meal. It is not true hunger, it is metabolic inflexibility. The empowering truth is that if habits can break metabolism, habits can also rebuild it. Small strategic changes can lower insulin, restore fuel access, and reactivate your cellular energy systems. In the next part, you'll learn the exact foundational shifts that begin repairing metabolism faster than most people think possible, and why the order in which you apply them determines how quickly your body responds. The fastest way to start repairing a metabolically damaged body is not through extreme dieting or exhausting workouts. It begins with restoring hormonal signals in the correct order, because metabolism is controlled by chemistry before it is controlled by calories. The first foundational shift is spacing your meals so insulin has time to fall. This means eliminating constant snacking and allowing several hours between meals. When insulin drops, your body finally receives permission to access stored fat for fuel. Many people notice within days that their energy becomes steadier simply because their cells are no longer locked out of their own fuel supply. The second shift is prioritizing protein and natural fats while reducing refined carbohydrates. Protein supports muscle repair and stabilizes appetite hormones, while healthy fats provide slow, steady energy that does not spike insulin. This combination teaches your metabolism how to burn fuel cleanly again. The third shift is rebuilding metabolic flexibility through gentle fasting windows. This does not mean starving yourself. It means intentionally allowing periods where your body runs on stored energy instead of incoming food. Even a 12-hour overnight fast can begin retraining your system to switch fuels. As your metabolism strengthens, that flexibility improves. The fourth shift is strength-based movement. You do not need complicated routines. Simple resistance exercises signal your muscles to absorb glucose without requiring large amounts of insulin. Muscle contractions act like metabolic sponges, pulling sugar out of the bloodstream and reducing the burden on your pancreas. Over time, this improves insulin sensitivity and increases resting metabolic efficiency. The fifth shift is protecting sleep as if it were medicine, because biologically it is. During deep sleep, your body recalibrates hormones that control hunger, stress, and repair. Consistent, high-quality sleep lowers cortisol, improves insulin sensitivity, and enhances fat burning. Without it, even the best nutrition plan struggles to work. The sixth shift is managing stress intentionally. Chronic stress keeps your nervous system in survival mode, and survival mode prioritizes storing energy, not burning it. Techniques like slow breathing, walking outdoors, prayer, journaling, or quiet reflection can lower stress hormones and signal safety to your metabolism. When your body feels safe, it releases stored fuel more willingly. The seventh shift is hydration with minerals, not just plain water. Electrolytes help your cells produce energy efficiently and prevent fatigue during metabolic repair. Many people who feel weak when reducing sugar are actually low in sodium, potassium, or magnesium rather than lacking calories. When you apply these shifts together, they create a powerful biological message that tells your body the environment has changed. Insulin lowers, inflammation decreases, mitochondria recover, and energy production rises. What once felt like a slow, stubborn metabolism begins to feel responsive again. The remarkable part is how quickly the body can adapt once the signals are corrected. In the final part, you will discover how to track your progress accurately, avoid the most common metabolic repair mistakes, and recognize the signs that your metabolism is healing even before the scale changes. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to fix their metabolism is relying only on the scale to measure progress. Body weight can fluctuate for dozens of reasons that have nothing to do with metabolic health, including hydration, inflammation, hormones, and digestion. If you judge success only by pounds lost, you may miss the powerful signs that your metabolism is actually healing. The first true marker of repair is stable energy throughout the day. When your metabolism begins working properly, you stop riding the roller coaster of spikes and crashes. You wake up clearer, think faster, and no longer depend on constant snacks or stimulants to function. The second sign is reduced cravings. When insulin stabilizes and your cells can access stored fuel, the urgent voice demanding sugar gets quieter. Hunger becomes calm, predictable, and manageable instead of intense and distracting. The third sign is improved mental clarity. As your body regains the ability to produce and use ketones efficiently, your brain receives a steady fuel source, and many people notice sharper focus, better memory, and more consistent mood. The fourth sign is longer satiety after meals. When hormones begin signaling correctly again, you feel satisfied for hours, not minutes. This is your metabolism relearning how to regulate appetite the way it was designed to. The fifth sign is better sleep quality. Balanced blood sugar reduces nighttime cortisol spikes, allowing deeper, more restorative rest. Many people are surprised that metabolic healing improves their sleep before it changes their appearance. The sixth sign is gradual reduction in waist circumference. Even if the scale barely moves, a shrinking waistline indicates that insulin levels are falling and stored fat is finally being released. The seventh sign is improved lab markers. Triglycerides often drop, HDL can rise, fasting insulin decreases, and blood sugar stabilizes. These internal improvements often happen weeks before visible transformation appears. While watching for these positive signals, you also need to avoid common mistakes that can slow progress. One mistake is cutting calories too aggressively. Severe restriction signals danger to your body, which can slow metabolism and increase stress hormones. Another mistake is trying to change everything overnight. Metabolic repair is fastest when changes are consistent, not extreme. A third mistake is fearing dietary fat. Healthy fats are essential for hormone production and stable energy, and avoiding them can keep you trapped in a sugar burning cycle. A fourth mistake is impatience. Your metabolism may have spent years adapting to a high insulin environment, and reversing that adaptation takes time. The goal is not speed, the goal is restoration. The most important truth to remember is that your body is not broken beyond repair. It is adaptive, responsive, and constantly listening to the signals you send through food, movement, sleep, and stress. When you change those signals, your biology changes with them. Metabolic healing is not luck, genetics, or mystery. It is physiology. And once you understand the signals your body responds to, you gain the ability to guide it back towards strength, clarity, and lasting energy for the rest of your life.